So I grew up in New York City, and I come from a tennis background, and I grew up playing tennis my whole life, playing juniors and collegiate tennis. And coming to Singapore 2 years ago, I fell on this opportunity to work with the WTA, and I think it's a great opportunity because it's something I can work within my passion of tennis and also in the sports industry.
I'm Canadian, and I came to the UK to do my master's at the University of Brighton. And after completing it in international event management, I stayed in the UK and wanted to get involved in the sports industry. My first job was with IMG at Wembley Stadium before I joined the tennis world and worked with the LTA, so British Tennis, as part of their event operations team. From there, I worked with the ATP with their Barclays ATP World Tour Finals, so their men's year-end championships, and then was fortunate enough to come full-time at the WTA.
I came across this job here in Singapore when I moved here 2 years ago in 2013. I joined the WTA team just before the finals last year in 2014, and I met with Melissa, who I knew from New York City, and just tried to build a team, and that's how I joined the WTA here in Singapore.
The reason I applied for a job at the WTA, was fortunate enough to work with the team very closely in my role at British Tennis. So when I was part of the operational team putting on a few of the WTA events, and when a full-time position became available, was recommended to apply for the position, and fortunate enough to get hired.
My main responsibilities here are to work with operations, as well as the WTA Future Stars tournament and coaches conference and other operational elements to organize the WTA finals event.
My main responsibilities as a senior account manager include looking after our partners, so our global partners that activated a number of events throughout the year, including here in Singapore at the WTA finals. I also work closely on a week-to-week basis with our tournaments. I have tournament members with their marketing, collateral, and promotions and events. And I'm also fortunate to be the event director of the WTA Pre-Wimbledon Party, which is a major event and media activation that we host in London.
The key skills and responsibilities to be successful in a role at WTA, I think, would be to be flexible, be willing to work in a very fast-paced environment, work with a lot of different people, and just enjoy working in a very event type industry.
In terms of key skills and experience, for us, I think it's a lot of organizational skills. Really understanding your client, so understanding either the brand or the partner or the tournament and what some of the goals are that they really want to achieve, and then knowing our industry and knowing our event and knowing our players, sort of helping them maximize that. So through marketing campaigns, digital campaigns, on-site activations, other events, anything like that. It's a lot of listening, a lot of patience, and sometimes really quick thinking. So if something isn't happening the way you want, how can you sort of turn that around and kind of get the best result or best solution for everybody involved?
The challenges working in tennis for people looking to work in this industry or WTA would probably be to realize that it's a very fast-paced, very sometimes unpredictable industry, because even though we work in events as in any other event, things can come up at the last minute. So things like that can be a little bit challenging, but you need to adapt and be aware of all these things and find a way to get around it and still perform.
I think one of the biggest challenges in tennis or working with any global company is that it never sleeps. That someone is always awake somewhere in the world. The other thing is some of the biggest sporting events also happen on the weekend. So you often do a lot of traveling, which is very exciting, but spend a lot of time in airports, hotels, and tennis courts. And you don't necessarily get to do a lot of sightseeing, but you do get a chance to meet a lot of wonderful people, and people that you want to spend, your evenings and weekends with.
What I love about working with WTA is just the people. I think the culture here is great. They become very welcoming, especially with the Singapore team here. We're a small team, only about 8 people, so we know each other, we hang out with each other, and I think it's a great opportunity to also learn from people like Melissa, who's been in the industry for a long time, working with this event in Turkey, London, and also in our headquarters in Florida.
I definitely love the people, both on the court and off the court, particularly off the court. So fellow colleagues, that we work with day in, day out in the office, as well as those that we meet on tour. So it's just such a collective group of people who have such a passion for sports and tennis in particular. So from volunteers that we meet who take their vacation to be a driver at an event, to comms managers, to media managers, to broadcast personalities. It's just such a great group of people.
What do we do when we're not working? I enjoy still playing tennis when I can. Exploring Singapore, I'm still fairly new to Singapore, and so I try to travel as much as I can, especially to other countries and other cities, and just enjoy the experience of being here.
When not working, I think, fortunate enough, my colleagues are a lot of fun and become really good friends. So we do anything from just going out for dinner or touring around a city, whether it's in London, shopping or hanging out for a great meal. Or when we can, actually catching a movie, which is sometimes nice to see when it's not just on the airplane.